Hello, I'm Landish Hongen, and today we are going to be doing the technical documentation page on FreeCodeCamp. This is part of the new responsive web design course of FreeCodeCamp, and this will be my second time doing this. And if you don't know me, I make video tutorials about FreeCodeCamp. I also have a few years of professional software engineering experience in the industry. We have a bunch of user stories that we have to pass. All of these are part of the test, so when we run the test, it should pass all of these. Uh, what we're going to be making is this thing. So I'm going to do Java documentation this time. The first time I did this, I did HTML documentation. This time we're going to do Java documentation. And we have links that when we click on them, we'll scroll down to that point and give us some more information about Java. So with that, let's get started. I'm going to stop this one. All right, I'm going to be using VS Code for this project. So if you want, you can also use Visual Studio Code, or you can use the code tab in here and just go into index.html and start copying from there, or whatever you would like to do, just watch. Uh, but I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code because it's super nice, gives me super helpful shortcuts. And right now I just have a folder open called Technical Documentation, where I'm going to put my HTML page. So index.html and my styles.css. And then inside my index.html, I'm going to start coding. So first let me get this out of the way. And then we can do shift exclamation point or exclamation point to get the starting boilerplate code. So this gives us that viewport thing with the initial scale set to 1 and then char set of UTF-8. It doesn't give us a link tag to our styles, but we can just add that. So we'll go link to our styles.css. And we also want to change this title to Java documentation. And then we can work on our markup. But before that, I'm going to go live and make sure this works. So here's our 550. And inside of here, if we put hello world, it should show up. And it does. Awesome. All right, inside the body, we're going to have a nav bar with an ID of nav bar. So go nav, hashtag nav bar. Then inside of here, we're going to have a bunch of ULs and list items. But first, we're going to also have this header, which is Java documentation. And then underneath that, we're going to have a UL with 5 LIs and 5 A's. So we're going to go LI times 5 greater than A as well. Okay. So then we have unordered list with 5 list items and 5 links. And the hrefs are going to be hashtags to different places. And that's what allows the scroll behavior to happen and allows us to scroll down to the correct section. For each A tag is going to have a class name. So we're going to go class equals navlink. This is so that we can select it later in our CSS. And the different sections we're going to have are getting started with Java, printing to the console, declaring functions, Java entry point, except we want this one a little bit above on the second spot. And then the last one is object-oriented programming. All right, awesome. And then these hrefs are basically going to be this, except with underscores in the middle of them. So we're going to copy that and paste them here. And then I'm just going to replace all these spaces with underscores. And I'm going to do that with all of these as well. All right, I did that. And then I also saved. And there we go. It's looking like that. Let's try formatting this with language features instead, because I don't know, it was formatting weird. Yeah, and I have to set my default formatter. That's annoying. All right. Now when I save, there, it's using my HTML language features instead of my prettier. All right, so now we have our links to our different sections. Now we actually have to make our sections. And with that, we're going to go underneath the nav. We're going to make a main with a hashtag of main doc or an ID of main doc. And then inside of here, we're going to have 5 sections. So we'll go section times 5. And then inside of each section, there's going to be a header. So I'm going to also put a header in each one of them. And they're also going to have some p tags. So I guess I'll also put a p tag in there, p, and yeah, that's about it. Let's just do that. All right, so inside the headers, it's basically just going to be the same thing as this was up here. So I'm just going to copy that down and put them in each of the sections. Link to the console, declaring functions. All right, save that. There we have our headers. Inside this p tag, I'll do steps in getting started. And then underneath this p tag, we're going to have an unordered list, or an ordered list actually. And I'm just going to copy what I have so that it doesn't take too long to make it. Right, all it is an OL with 5 LIs. If I save that, there we go. We get our list of steps to get Java installed. Java entry point. This is our main function. Let me get what I have for that. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, inside of each section, we need to make the ID equal to whatever these hrefs are. So this has to be getting started with Java with the underscores in it. And we have to do that for all these different sections. And also, all these sections should have a class on them. So I'm going to have multiple cursors, and I'm going to add a class to each of these. And the class is going to be called main section. There we go. And then we have to add these IDs. So I'll do that quick. All right, there we go. We have our IDs set on those. So then when we click these, it will scroll down, but for right now, it's not going to because we don't have very much real estate working with. It's just one page, no scrolling. All that to say, no scrolling. Okay. Okay, so we got this first section done. The second section, that's Java entry point, we are going to have a couple p tags in there, which are going to say a couple things about Java. The entry point to a Java application is the main function. It is categorized by a string arg as a parameter to the function. And then we're going to do our pre and code. So we're going to go pre. Inside of here, we're going to do code. And inside of the code, we're going to have this beautiful piece of Java code right there. And save that. And there we go. It looks like that. To see what we have right now, I'm just going to zoom out quick. Hopefully it helps you get a better idea of what we have. And then I'll zoom right back in. All right, printing to the console. Actually, we have a couple more p tags underneath this code. We're going to say, as you can see, the main function is wrapped within a class, which is part of the object-oriented structure of Java projects. The name of the projects is therefore my main function. So right here we have my main function. That's what it's called. Let's try zooming in on this as well. See if that helps. Yeah, there we go. And then also it should scroll now. Yep. Okay. Printing through the console. Here we're going to have a couple of p tags, a couple of paragraphs. In order to print to the console, we use system.out.println. I know it is very long and cumbersome, but this is the way it's done. Here we're going to have a code block. So we're going to have pre and code, and then public class my main function. And then here's the Java main function example, where you do system.out.println of hello world. And then that will actually print out hello world. It's like console log in JavaScript. System.out.println is for Java. And then underneath that, we're going to have another paragraph quick. In this example, we are printing out hello world to the console. Yep. And then now declaring functions. We declare functions with kind of weird in Java. So we're going to start with this paragraph. Functions are actually called methods in Java. Here's an example of how to declare a Java method. And then I put a image there. And this image is quite large, I think. So yeah, here's this image, but you can barely see it. So I'm just going to move on. Here I have some actual copyable code underneath this. Uh, some copyable code, yes. I'm labeling it before I put it in. Uh, Here we have the pre-tag and code public static void my function. So this is how you declare a function in Java. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Save that, and now that shows up down there. Last part is this object-oriented programming part, and then we can get to styling. So we're going to start with 3 paragraphs. And why I'm using a bunch of paragraphs is because FreeCodeCamp has their test checks for how many paragraphs you have. And you need like at least 10 or something like that. And then underneath that, we're going to define what a class looks like. And that's with the code block. Here we have a public class student. So here we're making a student object and defining that this student has a name and an age, and then we can make a student, and then we can get their name, and we can set their name. And then I have an example of how to use it underneath this. So we're going to grab that. Underneath here, we're going to go, we use this class by doing the following. And it's just student, student1, new student. We name them Jimmy. Jimmy's name, we get their name like that, and we can also set this student's name to be Kevin, and now their new name is Kevin. All right, so that's how that works, and it looks like it's showing up correctly. Now let's style this, and I also want to move this over a little bit, maybe make it a little wider. All right, styles.css. Since we already linked to our styles, we should be good to go. I'm going to start by compacting everything. So we're going to go margin and padding of 0, margin of 0, padding of 0, so that it gets rid of all those defaults. So now it looks even worse than it did before, but we'll get there. No worries. We're going to add a stuff to the body. Background color, we're going to make slightly gray. So we'll go RGB of 234 all the way across. 234, 234, 234. So that's slightly gray. Save that. And it did make it slightly gray. Okay. Now we need display flex on this. And flex direction of columns since we're doing mobile first. Flex direction of column. So mobile first is where we program it for mobile devices before we do desktop devices. And in this case, a mobile device has this screen width that's really, really small. And in that case, we're going to be doing this stuff. So we're going to go min height of 100 view heights. Probably don't need to do that by now, but I like to add it. And then we'll go font family. And we're going to be using the system UI fonts. Now we'll grab our sections. We'll get a margin top on them so that they are spaced out. There we go, they spaced them out pretty good. And then we're going to grab our navbar with hashtag navbar, grab it by the ID. And we're going to go background color of white. Did you see white? And then we're going to go width of 100%. We're also going to have a border bottom of 1 pixel solid. Save that, and there we go. Now it looks like that. we still have these ugly looking links, so let's fix that. We're going to grab our hashtag navbar li. I don't think this will fix our link yet, but first we're going to grab our color and we're going to make it this gray color of hashtag 4D4E53, a dark gray. Then we're going to go border top of 1 pixel solid black. And then we're going to go list style of none. And that I thought should, oh yeah, it gets rid of the list style. So the dots, yeah, gets rid of the dots. All right. So now we're going to actually get rid of the underline and make these links look better. That's with navbar of A. So we're going to grab all the A tags and we're going to go display of block. We want padding of 10 pixels, 30 pixels. We want color. Wait, no, yeah, color to be that same color. This hashtag 4D4. We're going to go text decoration of none. We want cursor pointer so that we know we can click on them. And we want font size of 18 pixels, make it slightly larger. Save that, and there we go. Looking pretty good. And when we click on these, they will scroll down to the section instantaneously. There was a hover effect on these, so we're going to add that hover effect. We're going to hashtag navbar A and then $hover so that we can add a hover effect. We're going to go font weight of 500 and a text indent of 5 pixels. Save that, and there we go. Now when we hover over it, it moves it over 5 pixels and also makes it a little bit bold. If we want, we can also add a transition to that. So we could do transition, what is it? Font weight. Font weight, yeah, font weight, 1 second, ease and out. Save that. Did that work? I don't know. Transform. Okay, yeah, I think we need the transition actually on the nav, not on the hover portion of it. So now if we have it like that, then it will maybe font weight. What if we do text indent? And we do like 3 seconds. Okay, yeah, that does definitely work. Okay. Oh my gosh, it moves so slow. Okay, I actually want like 0.3 seconds. Oh yeah, look at that. That's kind of cool. I think we can also I thought we could also do that for font weight. Maybe we can't do it for font weight though. Oh, it's kind of weird. Okay, yeah, I don't think it works for font weight. It does work for the text indent though, so that's kind of neat. Interesting. Okay. Well, I learned something right now. So, okay. Uh, we're going to grab our paragraphs and we're going to go margin of 10 pixels. And that's it. Just add a little bit of margin to our paragraphs. Then we'll grab our ordered list, margin left of 30 pixels. Great. Underneath that, we want to grab our main doc, hashtag main doc, and margin of 0 auto on that. Save that. It's starting to look a little nicer already. Now we want our header, and we're going to make these obviously a lot bigger and better. Okay, so we're going to go color of black. We're going to go margin of 10 pixels, text align of center, we're going to go font size of 1.8 M. And then we're also going to give it a font weight of 500 so that it is bold. There we go. There's our beautiful headers. Much better. Let's zoom out. There we go. And then we are going to next grab our code. So these little code blocks, we're going to style that. So we're going to go code, display a block. We want text align left. We want white space of normal, or no, white space pre. Word break of normal. We want word wrap of normal. Line height of 1.5. Background color of white. We want a padding of 0 and 15 pixels and a margin of 10 pixels and a border radius of 5 pixels. Save that. There we go. Now they are in these white boxes. So that's looking nice. Now we want to grab this image and shrink it down. So we're going to go .image. So I did give it a class, although I did copy it over, so you probably didn't see that. But we just have to give it a width of 100% so that it will fit within this container. And then we want our footer. So footer, we're going to go padding of 30 pixels. Actually, did I add a footer? I don't think I did. Where's my... I did not add a footer. I can add my footer quick. This is below the section, but still within main. I'm just documentation brought to you on the fly by me. And then we have that footer right there. Okay. So this footer has padding. What else does it have? It has text align center. Line of center. And it also has a color of gray. There we go. So now we're going to make it so that when we make it bigger, it will put the bar on the side instead of on top. So we're going to do that with the media query. And maybe I can show that if I have this open like this. Yeah. So we're going to go media query. So we're going to go at media. And it's going to be only screen and min width of 815 pixels. And then inside of here, we're going to put our body and change its flex direction to a row. So if I change that, there we go. This is now on the side, but we have to shrink this down a bit. So we're going to grab our nav bar. So hashtag nav bar. And we're going to go width of 300 pixels. Shrink that down like so. And then we're going to give it a position of fixed. Actually, we might not even have to make a position fixed. I'll try doing that at the end and see if it changes anything. So we're going to first do height of 100% and give it a, yeah, we'll do that for now. Actually, height seemed fine how it was. It was weird. So wait, no, if I save that, yeah. Oh, it actually takes up the full thing. That's why I made it fixed. Also, like when you scroll, you're supposed to still be able to see this. So that's why I made it like that. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we want position fixed on this. Position of fixed. And then we want it to have a height of 100% and overflow. Actually, we'll do that at the end. And see how it's covering most of this. We have to shift this over all by 300 pixels now. So we're going to do that now with hashtag main doc. We'll grab that and shift it over. So we're going to go margin of 0 and 20 pixels to start out, and then we're going to get the margin left. and we're going to shift it over by 350 pixels. Save that, and there we go. Now we can actually see what's on there. And then the last thing, we have to grab this image. I want to make it smaller if it's like too wide or whatever. So I'm going to go .image, and we're just going to shrink it down to width of 70%. Save that, and it just gets shrunk down a bit. And we're also going to give it a margin left so that it centers a little bit better. So we're going to go margin left of 20 pixels and shift it over slightly. All right, so this is about it. The only other thing we have to add is smooth scroll. So we're going to go up to the top and add HTML scroll behavior of smooth. And then we will get a beautiful scroll behavior. So that is epic. Last thing is this uh, thing here. I want the option to resize it, and there's actually a way to do that. All you have to do is go into the nav bar, and we can go resize of horizontal, but nothing's going to happen yet because we also have to add the overflow x property. So overflow of x of scroll. And now we should be able to resize this. There's this little box down at the bottom, and I can resize this to however big I want or however small I want. And it still works like before. So there's a way to resize stuff. And that is it for this. We have to copy and paste this into the code. So index the HTML is right here. I'm going to just grab it all, Control A, Control C, and we're going to paste it here. And if I make this smaller, maybe you can see most of it. Yeah, so we're just copying all this and pasting it in here. And for styles.css, it is all this stuff. And we're going to grab all that and put it in styles.css. Paste it, and then we should be able to see the preview. And it's what we put for our live server. So it's looking correct, and let's see if it passes all the tests. So I'm going to make this big quick, and we're going to go down, scroll down, and run the tests. And ooh, it does not pass one of them. Replace with underscores for the IDs. Okay, so I guess one of the main sections I forgot to replace with underscores. Matches the text of its first child. I thought I copy and pasted for all those. Well, let's see what I did here. Um, hmm. So that is what part of it? Each main section should have an ID that matches the text of its first child. Each main section. Maybe I can look at this. Okay, never mind. I don't want to look at that. Each main section. Each main section should have an ID that it's, is the same as the first section. Looks like it does for that. Java entry point does. This does printing to the console. Oh, right here I missed a underscore. Okay, printing to the console. All right. So save that, and then I guess recopy all this. Or actually I can just change it inside of the FreeCodeCamp thing. So let's see here. Entry point getting printing to the console. I need an underscore, and I need an underscore somewhere down here. Printing to the console right here. Okay. Put that underscore there, and now it should pass all the tests. Run the test, and let's go! It passed the test, and that was like I said, this is my second time doing it. I changed it slightly because I'm doing Java documentation instead of HTML documentation, and hopefully the video is a little bit better this time. Anyways, here's the code one last time. Actually, next up for FreeCodeCamp is learning CSS variables by building a city skyline. So uh, this project looks like this. We're going to build a city skyline next, so stay tuned for that. If you like the video, make sure to like the video and subscribe if you're so inclined. Leave a comment if you have any questions. I'll try and answer them. and I will see you later. All right. See